Susan Smith joins me now. She's a Liberal strategist and co-founder of the Blue Sky Strategy Group. Good morning. Great of you to be with us today. Happy Budget Day.
Happy Budget Vote Day. It's I think going to be a little more exciting than yesterday's Grey Cup was, in the sense that we're down to the wire. And you're right, it's either 2 votes or 4 votes that will decide whether or not we go back to an election. And when you're in Ottawa, you always have a sense that an election is coming. It doesn't feel like that today.
It doesn't feel like that? Why?
No.
Do you think you're going to get enough opposition members, sway enough to get the vote in favor of this budget?
I think some common sense will prevail. You might have some opposition members who have Wi-Fi problems, who have suddenly been called away and are unable to be present in the House of Commons. But I think it largely will hinge on the fact that Canadians don't want another election. I don't think there's anybody that was back in their ridings last week who was being told, we want to go back to the polls, we want another costly election, we want limbo in the context of our trade negotiations and when we're at this big economic moment. And the other reality is, for the opposition parties, they're actually not likely to come out ahead in an election. Canadians will probably punish whoever triggers the election. So the NDP don't have a leader, they don't have any money. The Bloc Québécois could stand to gain, but the Conservatives have not made any headway since Poilievre lost his seat and since they lost the election. He lost a member of parliament last week and another one who's going to leave in 6 months. And he has a leadership vote in leadership review in January. So the math is really about, are we going back to an election right now? And so I think there'll be a lot of posturing. There'll be the right number of MPs for each party that vote against the budget, but I think you'll find a few people absent. The big thing I'm watching is if any members of other parties actually choose to vote for the budget. That will be interesting. That
would be very interesting. And from which party do you think they could be? All parties, or what's your thoughts, Susan?
Yeah, that's a good question, Marcia. In the budget, there are some, to use the term the young kids call Easter eggs, I think, that projects that could be beneficial to members of parliament from other parties, right? The government has to govern for all across the country, for all Canadians. So there was a Conservative MP from Timmins at a meeting with the federal Liberal minister around a critical minerals announcement last week. That's something that could be beneficial to their riding. The member of parliament for the North, for Nunavut, there's some funding that could go into the Arctic. There's lots of benefits that could go there. So the NDP, you'll see some people vote against, I think. Some people will abstain. Be interesting to see what Elizabeth May does with her one vote. But if we end up in a tie situation, the Speaker can cast the vote. It's the only time a Speaker votes. And in this case, the tie would go to the government.
Are the Liberals ready for another election?
I don't think anybody wants an election. I think campaigns could be stood up if they need to, but people will remember that there's campaign buses and campaign planes and candidates that need to be nominated. And, I think people would go with their same team, except perhaps Mr. Poilievre, who's lost a few people and may lose a few more. So they could go, but I don't think the Liberals would want to be the ones to trigger an election, though they ultimately could be the beneficiaries if we went to the polls again. But I don't think anybody in Canada wants a Christmas election.
No. I think you're right about that. Susan Smith.
Not me, anyway.
We hear you. Is a Liberal strategist and co-founder of Blue Sky Strategy Group. Take care. We'll talk to you again.